Head coach Jay Thomas, his Demons smacked Southern 51-27 down in Baton Rouge last week in your hometown, basically, and now they head north to Ruston. Not a long drive at all to play Louisiana Tech this weekend. Coach, talk about that game at Southern and what it meant to your football team.
Well, it was a really big win for our guys, and it's a pleasure to be able to see those guys have a smile on their face after the game. And the chicken was really good, but it tastes really, really good after you win a game. You really enjoy it a lot better. And the bus ride home, it was just a different mood, mindset. Bouncing our step last night, coming around meetings. You see guys showing up around the office a little bit more, and I think it's a good lead in, to this week, which is, obviously, it's a big game, hour and a half away, in state. So just like last week, it's an opportunity to play in state. So I think our guys we started working on it last night, educating them a little bit about the history of the game. And so they got sparked up a little bit, so they got to see a little bit of that. So we'll see. Louisiana Tech has a really good football team.
All right, the Demons had a good football team on Saturday night. What was the difference? Obviously, level of competition, you're not playing number 18 in the country, Baylor, but the Demons played a lot better, I think, than they had in the previous week overall. What made the difference?
I think that we played really well. I thought our emotions were really high. We didn't get out of control. A few times it could have. We could have went off in the ditch a little bit, so to speak. But I thought our guys managed and handled the atmosphere really well. The game plan was to go in and control the clock, which we did. 37 minutes in the ball game. We won the third down battle. I thought our defense did a tremendous job getting takeaways, created great field position for us. I thought our special teams, particularly our kickoff team, did a great job. Chris Moore really kicked the ball very well. But the kickoff coverage was tremendous. Javez Barnes was our special teams guy of the week, player of the week for us. He made some tremendous plays. Amon Claiborne did too. There was a lot of guys running down there that did a tremendous job. And not only that, but our punt coverage teams. That's the two teams that you really have to look at. And you have to have really committed guys that want to go down there and get that job done. But I thought our offensive line really withstood a test. Southern was throwing everything at us in the kitchen sink too. With linebackers coming and different angles and outside blitzes, and they were doing those things to try to stop our run game, and staying with patience and being able to stay committed to it, and then finally you hit one, and that's what we were able to do. And then of course Zach played a tremendous game, and our receivers were outstanding.
Talk about Zach's play, 30 out of 35, 19 in a row. Hard to do any better.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But you know what? He still made mistakes. So, Zach is he's such a competitor, and he wants to do the right thing, and he's a really good football player. He's a cool customer, man. He's as cool as I've ever been around. Talented guy, but sometimes he'll hang on to the ball a little bit too long, and I don't like seeing him take hits when he does that. So, we have to fuss him a little bit. And but he'll get up and tell you, hey, I was hanging. I did, my fault, and I knew I should have gotten rid of it.
All right, you turned the page now, and already have started with your team to focus on Louisiana Tech. Let's talk about the tradition, and then we'll talk about the football side of it. This game's been played. First game Northwestern ever played against another college, 1907. A lot of history there. How do you try to communicate that to your players and keep it in perspective as far as what they need to do on Saturday night?
Well, with Doug Ireland's help, we have video that we started with last night. It was tremendous. I learned things by watching. It was a slideshow and music to it. So, we want our guys to understand, what it was like, this rivalry was like way back, and how much it meant to folks, both sides, not just here at Northwestern, but, with Louisiana Tech too as well. And so the slideshow just gave a history of it, and it could give you chills watching it, and our guys got excited about it, and we'll continue to educate, as we go through the week, have some guest speakers, former players and coaches and personnel that had taken part in the game, so it ought to be fun. It ought to be fun for the fans and, the boosters and, for both sides, to get everybody I guess, to talk a little bit, and, we'll see. They're playing really good right now, really good football, so it's going to be a tough challenge for our guys.
So let's talk about the football end of it. They've put a lot of points on the board in each of the last 2 weeks, almost 50, and their defense has just been lights out under Manny Diaz. They've found a quarterback, and they've got dangerous receivers and a great running back. A lot of challenges Louisiana Tech presents the Demons.
Coach Holtz has done a great job in recruiting, filling some holes. Obviously, we've got a few transfers that have really helped them. They had really quality players there before, but they've done a good job of getting into the junior college ranks and bringing some guys in that are playing really well. It's tough to, make all that work, and they've done a great job of doing that, pulling all those guys together. And that's what I see. You can see it on tape when you watch them. They play together, offensively, defensively, and special teams. Man, the way they run down on the kicks is probably the best we've seen this year, without a doubt. Their special teams are really good. They're very committed to what they're doing. Offensively, the quarterback is really strong arm. He's a big guy. He can run the football too, so you got to defend 11. And then you got Dixon back there, and then, trying to tackle that guy, man, you don't know if you could get him, like they used to say, in the phone booth, So, and then they got receivers, kids from, 2 or 3 of them are transfers, one from LSU and maybe one from Georgia. But I tell you what, those guys can flat out go. So another huge challenge for our defense, hopefully we can go in there and hang in there with them. And then their defense, wow. I mean, those guys are playing really good. Manny's got them playing very well. Coach Diaz does a good job of mixing the fronts, mixing coverages, alignments. He stems late, really to mess with the quarterback and those type of things. So, our offense, we're trying to find a place to maybe to run the football, and it's tough. So. And then, of course, our special teams are going to have their hands full too. So, these guys, man, it's like, they're running around, they're playing fast and playing hard, and got really good football players. Defensively, within their front 7, it's all juniors and seniors, guys that have played a lot of football. And then you see those guys on special teams as well, and that's why they're good on special teams. So it'll be a fun game. We look forward to it, and hopefully we can gain a yard or 2, and find a way to slow them down on offense, and we'll see how it goes.
Now, one thing you'll have in your favor this week that you haven't had since week 1, that's Spirit of Northwestern sitting in the stands playing music.
Hey, that's great, man. I know. I heard about it last week. Gonna have the band there, man. Our band rocks, So, those guys are the best, and that's gonna be fun. Ought to add to the game atmosphere. So ought to be exciting. Ought to be a big crowd too. This is Tech's first home game, So I know I've got people calling me looking for every ticket and sideline pass, and so I look forward to going. It's going to relax. That's the thing. Let's go relax and have fun and be a great day.
Well, I hope the chicken tastes really good coming home.
Yeah, me too. Yes.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We're with quarterback Zach Adkins, the Demons' senior signal caller. There's a phrase for you. And coming off a win at Southern and coming into a game at Louisiana Tech, Zach, first let's look back at that Southern game. Felt pretty good, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, it felt good to finally get a win for the season, get us back on the right track.
What made the difference for the Demons Saturday night?
I think there's a lot of people enthused to play it back in Louisiana. So they had a lot of crowd there, a big crowd for us, and then we just finished it. We outplayed all 4 quarters and got a win.
Well, clearly your performance individually was a focus. 30 out of 35, 19 passes in a row, a school record completed. Have you ever had a game where your numbers were that good?
No, I don't think I have. I guess I just was in a rhythm. Just my receivers were making good plays for me, and my O-line gave me the time to throw the ball out to them.
At the time it was happening, did you know your numbers were that good?
No, I had no idea. I just was playing football, and at the end of the day, they finally told me, and I was pretty impressed.
All right. What does it take to continue that kind of performance through the bulk of the year?
It's just hard work every day in practice, making sure our timing is right every day, no mistakes, trying to be perfect at practice, and that carries over into the game.
You're one of the national leaders in the top 5 in completion percentage in FCS football. What does that say about the offensive structure and the way you guys have executed so far?
I think it's just they've got us well prepared, the coaches have, and telling me where I should be looking at and what reads to make against what coverages, and the receivers, just me and them working on our timing together in practice all week.
All right, now you're turning your attention to Louisiana Tech, a school that you knew about before you knew about Northwestern. Explain that.
Well, Coach Franklin was recruiting me a little bit out of my JUCO, but then after the coaching change, that he kind of was the reason why I ended up here. He called Coach Brown, and I'm thankful for that. So, and I heard it's a big rivalry, so I'm ready to go up there and get a win.
Now, you've heard it's a big rivalry. How long did it take after you got here to get an idea that Northwestern and Louisiana Tech had some history?
I really didn't hear about it too much until I found out we were playing them, and a lot of people came up to me telling me how big the rivalry was. And yesterday we watched a little video showing the past history of the rivalry, so now I'm feeling it and ready to go out there and win.
Now it's 20 years since these teams have played. They're FBS, we're FCS. You've already played one of the best FBS teams in the country, the top 10 ranked Baylor Bears. So how do you approach a game like this?
We got to work really hard this week, harder than we've worked for any other, even harder for Baylor, because we feel like we have an opportunity to go compete with these guys, even though they're a great team. I feel like we can put up a good game against them and maybe come out with a W.
They played Thursday night on TV against North Texas. Their defense was dominant. They've got Manny Diaz as their defensive coordinator, who was at the University of Texas last year. Clearly their defense is much improved. I know you haven't watched film yet. Were you able to look at any of that game Thursday night? And whether or not you were, what about their defense from what you've read and heard? That's got to be a challenge.
Yeah, I've heard they've had a really good defense coming into this year, and I look forward to going against that. I always want to play against the best, so what I could do, so I'm ready for this week.
All right, 3 games into the season, are offensively the Demons where you want them to be?
No, we're not. Of course, we're not there yet. We'll get there. We're getting better every week, and we'll get there eventually. But we just got to keep working to get better. Make everything. You can never be satisfied, or you won't succeed in this league.
All right. Well, good luck Saturday.
Appreciate it.
Senior defensive tackle Deon Simon, who went home to Baton Rouge Saturday night, came back to Natchitoches a very happy guy after winning in his hometown. The Demons beat the Jaguars at Southern University. Now we turn our attention to Louisiana Tech. But first, Deon, let's look back at that game Saturday. What made the difference for the Demons down in Baton Rouge?
We had stress all week that we needed to go in with a different mindset. We had to get a win under our belt. And, for me, it was a very good experience to go back home, play in front of a lot of family and friends. So that was the big part about it.
How did you control your emotions, your personal emotions, and go out and do the job, or did some of that personal stuff really help you do your job?
Yeah, I try to stay focused more, but having all the support there and all the hype behind me made me play up to a level that I could play up to.
And it was a lot nicer having more Demon fans in the stands than we had in Waco, that's for sure. So that helps, and you'll have a bunch of Demon fans in the stands as we come to Ruston on Saturday. Let's talk about that game and the challenge that Louisiana Tech presents. They have scored a lot of points in each of their last 2 games. They've got one of the best running backs in the country in Kenneth Dixon, quarterback transfer who has certainly mobilized their offense, a dangerous wide receiver. What about defensively? I know you haven't scouted them yet, you haven't looked at film, but certainly you're aware that Louisiana Tech has emerged as an explosive team offensively.
Yeah, I know. Coaches told us back a while back, it was a big rivalry game. So once we get the game plan in and watch film and scout those guys out, we'll start looking forward to trying to stop the offense.
When you think about the history of this rivalry, they started playing in 1907 and played every year for many, 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 many years. What will that mean to you guys preparing this week, knowing so many people who love Northwestern are so excited about this game?
Just give them something to look forward to, try to get the rivalry back, try to go out there and compete with those guys and to hopefully get the W.
Now, you played one of the best FBS teams in the country, top 10 ranked Baylor just a couple of weeks ago. Louisiana Tech's 2-1, and they've beaten two good teams to get there. And what about the challenge that faces this team Saturday night?
Just go out and execute the game plan that we'll install on Tuesday, and just keep fighting and just hopefully finish out through the whole game. All
right. For the defense personally, you up front, your guys have got to manage to win that battle up front. Are there any things that you need to improve on coming off the win at Southern?
Just basically just getting more pressure to the quarterback. We coaches told them they like to run it, or like to run the power, the draw. So we're just looking forward to stopping their run.